In a way, I wouldn't say it's a fair, but this feels really, really nostalgic, returning to my roots, playing these open tournaments in these small ballrooms across America. It's been 30 years since my chess career began in earnest, but it very much was a reminder of the early days and why I originally fell in love with chess.
Welcome to week 5 of the Chess News podcast, where we discuss the FIDE World Cup, Nakamura's road to the candidates, and more. The dominating story of the week is of course the FIDE World Cup in Goa, India, the biannual giant knockout tournament with lots of prize money, $120,000 for first place, and 3 candidate spots at stake. It feels like more than ever, big names had to leave early this year. Wednesday was the second classical game of the second round and the first day of big upsets as 3 2700 players got eliminated: Ian Nepomniachtchi, Wesley So and Aravind Chidambaram. Nepomniachtchi missed a tactic with the white pieces and got outplayed surprisingly easily by the Indian Grandmaster Diptayan Gosh.
Fantastic endgame technique. Gosh has done everything right since an opening blunder from Nepomniachtchi, he stops the clock. That means he's exiting the competition in round 2. Nepomniachtchi, he brings his kings to the center, he signs the score sheet, he just wants to get out of that playing hall.
Having to pack his bags early, Nepomniachtchi ungraciously fired at the local organizers in a telegram post written in Russian. Translated into English, it said, "I'd played in India before, in 2019 in Kolkata, so I more or less understood what the conditions would be like. But FIDE, to their credit, managed to surprise me. There's nothing to say about the chess part. It's one of those places you don't feel sad about leaving."
Yeah, obviously I feel it. First of all, qualifying to the World Cup itself is quite a thing. So, and then defeating Nepo in a match is icing on the cake.
Despite being rated 132 ELO points higher, Aravind Chidambaram didn't survive the all-Indian clash with GM Karthik Venkataraman. The biggest surprise probably was not just Wesley So getting knocked out by the Lithuanian Grandmaster Titas Tremavicius, but also how it happened. So resigned in an endgame position that was objectively a draw, as pointed out immediately by the engines, as Black could have saved himself because of stalemate in one of the variations. Afterward, it was much debated whether finding the draw should have been easy or not for a player of So's caliber.
Wesley So has resigned in a drawn position.
Oh my god.
Wow. Wesley So saved it. He saved it. He didn't know it though. He should have just played on a few more moves. There was nothing to lose. He's exited the World Cup on a misunderstanding, on a miscalculation, misevaluation, whatever you want to call it. He had 13 seconds left. He could have just made a move and he would potentially have saved this game. Wesley So leaves in dramatic circumstances.
As Anthony Levin pointed out in his news piece for chess.com, So will be cheering now on Pragnananda Rameshbabu and Vincent Keimer, the only players above him in the FIDE circuit standings and not yet qualified to the candidates. 3 players will be qualifying from this World Cup, and if Prague and Keimer will be both among them, So might end up a happy man after all. Also in this round, Pentala Harikrishna won a nice game against Arseny Nesterov with a spectacular queen sacrifice as early as move 8. For anyone who's looking for ways to spice up their repertoire against the Petrov, this could be an idea for your next game perhaps. Thursday saw the round 2 tiebreaks. The youngest player in the field, Faustino Oro from Argentina, put up a good fight but could not save himself against India's Vidit Gujrathi. The biggest upset of the day was Lorenzo Lodici of Italy beating Hans Niemann of the USA. The 25-year-old Italian Grandmaster would also knock out the highly experienced Mickey Adams from England the next round, which had more upsets. Saturday was a particularly good day for German chess as Frederik Svane went through by beating none other than the world champion Gukesh Dommaraju, and Alexander Donchenko knocked out Anish Giri. Donchenko and Svane joined their compatriots Vincent Keimer and Matthias Blubaum towards the 4th round. Svane beat Gukesh despite serious time trouble. By move 33 he was playing on increment and made his move with 3 seconds on the clock, while Gukesh had over 20 minutes.
I'm so happy, I didn't expect it at all. I was in time trouble after 50 moves because I'm playing so slowly. But somehow he didn't play correctly. I thought this rookie one was a very strange decision by him to allow this knight endgame. I thought he should have played rook h1. And then the knight endgame was very tough for him to defend, and luckily I then won.
Here's what Donchenko said about his win against Giri.
Honestly, I just feel completely wasted. I didn't register much of what was happening after the time control, and honestly, most of the game I was just happy that I'm definitely not worse and just playing along. But at some point, I got a serious chance and somehow capitalized. So very, very happy, obviously.
Another upset in this round was Jose Martinez from Peru eliminating Nodirbek Abdusattorov from Uzbekistan, winning both games. The last World Cup day discussed in this podcast is Sunday, when we saw the tiebreaks of the third round. No real upsets here, although Vidit Gujrathi was the rating favorite by 62 points against Sam Shankland in a match where the American player was victorious. Shankland had some interesting remarks about the World Cup in general.
It's my favorite tournament of every single time. I mean, I think a knockout system is the best way to run absolutely any individual sport. The most successful individual sport by a very wide margin is tennis, and I don't think there's a single tennis tournament that isn't knockout. So I'm a huge fan of knockout style events. Everyone loves filling out a bracket, and the games tend to be fighting. There's not much incentive to make draws because you still have to beat the guy.
The longest match on Sunday was the one between Maxime Vachier-Lagrave from France and Vladislav Artemiev from Russia, which went all the way to Armageddon. MVL managed to beat his opponent twice on demand before also winning that Armageddon with the white pieces. Artemiev showed nice sportsmanship afterward, discussing the game with his opponent for a while and giving another firm handshake. It's not easy to lose with dignity, and I always admire it when I see players doing it. But here is a quote from MVL.
This was a great match. I mean, congrats to Vlad. I took all I got in myself to come back and to win it. I feel relieved, of course, but well, the road is still very long.
This podcast is published during the first rest day in Goa. Round 4 starts on Tuesday. The rating favorites still in contention are Arjun Erigaisi, Praggnanandhaa Rameshbabu, both India, Vincent Keimer from Germany, and Wei Yi from China. Note that the Armenian-American Levan Aronian, the only player in history to win 2 World Cups, is still there too, and so is former World Championship contender Peter Leko from Hungary. Nowadays working mostly as a coach and a commentator, Leko eliminated Bobby Cheng from Australia and Kirill Alexienko.
Well, it's like a fairy tale, yeah. It's of course very, very pleasant. Well, I'm not having any expectations. I'm not looking forward to anything. I just try to play the next game. I'm very happy to be here. And playing here in India with all this crowd after the game, this cheering, all the signings, it's just always so nice to see that people care. Yeah, that there are so many fans, and it's a pleasure to play here.
Leko has a tough pairing ahead. He plays Arjun Erigaisi in round 4. The world's top 3 players are sadly missing from the FIDE World Cup. It was lovely to see Magnus Carlsen commentating on the Chess.com broadcast this week, where at some point his wife Ella left a comment in the Twitch chat that lunch would be ready in 25 minutes, a comment which the producer then put on the show to make sure Magnus wouldn't miss it. World number 3 Fabiano Caruana was actually in my city this week, in Amsterdam. On Thursday he gave a 10-board simul at IMC Trading. The company is an important partner of Team Liquid, which has Carlsen, Caruana and Praggnanandhaa as their signed players for the Esports World Cup and other events. Together with Anna-Maja Kazarian, I provided commentary on the simul, where Caruana won on all 10 boards despite being worse on 2 of them. World number 2 Hikaru Nakamura was busy over the weekend playing in the first Washington Dulles Open in Sterling, Virginia, a 5-round Swiss with classical rated games on Friday, Saturday and Sunday. The word classical was important there, because by finishing this event, Nakamura has reached the threshold of 40 classical games to be eligible for the rating spot of the 2026 Candidates Tournament.
I have now completed the 40 games for this calendar year, which means I will qualify for the candidates by the average rating, which started all the way back in August and concludes, I believe, in January of 2026.
The FIDE regulations stipulate the highest rated player according to the 6-month average rating based on FIDE standard rating lists from August 25 till January 26, provided the respective player has played at least 40 games calculated for rating lists from February 25 till January 26, including at least 15 games in any of the 6 consecutive rating lists. His result in the tournament was less important than reaching those 40 games, but Nakamura started with 4 wins before drawing with Grandmaster Praveen Balakrishnan in the final round. Sunday was also the 9th of November, which is quite a special date for the chess world. Michael Tal, the 8th world champion, was born on November 9, 1936. And 40 years ago, on November 9, 1985, Garry Kasparov became the 13th world champion after beating Anatoly Karpov in their second match. And last Sunday, Daniel Naroditsky would have turned 30. It's still such a sad story. Chess.com paid tribute with an extensive article showcasing some of his best articles, videos and broadcast moments. There's a link in the show notes. A nice story from this week was about Eberechi Eze returning to school, reported by The Athletic. I'm quoting a bit from the story. On a dark autumnal London morning, Eberechi Eze is going back to school. It is an early Thursday wake-up for the Arsenal forward, as he prepares to return to his alma mater to give back to the place that helped make him. At the John Roan School in Greenwich, southeast London, hundreds of children have filtered into the gymnasium to listen to the England international. Such is the interest, 3 assemblies will be held this morning. Despite being told to keep their eyes forward, excitable murmurs begin as soon as the first group spots Eze entering the room. He receives a hero's welcome each time. Teachers and students applaud the introduction of the former pupil. So what was the purpose of Eze's visit to his old school? Well, it was to promote chess because he is a big fan and plays a lot himself. In partnership with Chess.com, the Eze Foundation brought equipment for the school's club, which meets weekly. Also in attendance this Thursday morning was the player's older brother, Gukesh, who introduced him to chess and is the COO of the foundation, and Lauren de Costa, a British chess coach and international master, who runs the chess charity She Plays to Win, which supports UK girls and young women in playing chess. Gukesh and Lauren lead the assemblies, discussing the benefits of chess, of its ability to improve focus and resilience, and explaining the rules while encouraging students to attend the school's club and to play online. On another note, just a week after I mentioned 16-year-old Ilan Parti AR becoming India's 90th Grandmaster, this is already old news. ChessBase India reported that Rahul VS has become India's 91st Grandmaster after winning a tournament in the Philippines, scoring 7 out of 9 to take clear first place. On a final note, the Speed Chess Championship finals have been announced. Even though they will still count as the semi-finals and finals of the 2025 SEC, the busy calendar forced the organizers to hold them in the new year. You can watch the 4 best speed chess players in action on February 7 and 8 in London, and tickets are on sale. That's it for this week. See you next week. And do subscribe wherever you get your podcasts so you won't miss any new episodes.